Oh man.
Dun, 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 dun. Check.
What it do?
Check 2 1 2. What is this? Back with another one of the.
Back with another honest review. This is Flick Filter. I'm Big Diesel.
And I'm Coach.
You tried.
Yeah, man. We
Womp
all womp womp. See, we all try. Shout out to all the people who try things. You know, Boots Riley. I don't know why I mentioned him. Of course, I mentioned him because we are reviewing.
You had to.
I love boosters.
Booster Gold.
I don't know who that is. I'm kidding. He's a superhero.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Know your audience.
But we're not know your audience. Do we know our audience? Anywho, yes, we are. Well, anyway, we are reviewing. Yes, like I mentioned, we are reviewing ILOVE boosters.
Explain.
So this is the latest film from director Boots Riley. He is, he's a talented director. You may know him from his previous film, Sorry to Bother You. I believe that came out in 2018, and so this is his first movie since it's been 8 long years. In fact, he did have another. He actually had a show that came out a couple of years ago called I'm a Virgo, about this giant teenager who's like 10 feet tall or something. Anywho, I didn't get to watch that, but I did hear that was a good show. But yeah, this is his latest feature film, and it is essentially about a group of young women who are boosters, who essentially they steal expensive designer clothing and they sell it for a markdown price. The film stars the very talented Kiki Palmer. Been in a lot of things lately, always very public in the eyes of the people. And, people love her and all the things that she's been doing. Also has Naomi Aki, been in a lot of things lately. Taylor Page, great actress as well. Got Demi Moore. She's essentially the villain of the movie. She plays this well-renowned fashion designer. But you got other supportive performances as well. Isa Gonzalez, Lakeith Stanfield, Will Poulter, Don Cheadle. It's a very stacked cast.
Dang, Isa Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah, very stacked.
I was trying to see one of her movies.
Yeah. So, yeah, she's been in some things lately as well. Been in a lot of things. You got a lot of talented, great actors that have been making some waves as of late. But yes, this film, there's a lot I could say about it because it throws so much at you. Like it's very colorful, very vibrant. It's zany, almost cartoon-like, very cartoon-like actually, with some of the visuals and the hijinks and just there are things that happen in this movie where you're like, did they really just like do that in this movie that I don't want to spoil, but the movie is very much a critique of capitalism, the fashion industry, how it like exploits people, how workplaces in general are very exploitative. It's kind of similar in a way to Sorry to Bother You in that way. I think Sorry to Bother You is very much about the workforce, but this is in a way also about the workforce, but also looking at the workforce specifically through the lens of fashion and how that affects different communities. Because you have Kiki Palmer's character, she is, low income, she's struggling, but she's a talented designer as well. And she has these big dreams for herself. She has this, tight friend group, and, they be stealing stuff, and they're just doing what they can to make it by. Um, and that's kind of the general gist as far as the plot. Um, Demi Moore plays Chrissy Smith, like I mentioned before. She's a fashion designer, and the funny thing enough is, excuse me, pretty much all the designs that this group steals are her designs. And so when she catches wind of this happening, it's like, okay, people keep stealing her stuff. So now she's kind of like on a hunt to figure out like who's doing it. So that kind of sets up the major conflict of the movie. But so much stuff happens in this, like that you would not expect. I think one of the things, for better and for worse, is that while watching the movie, you can't really predict what's going to happen from scene to scene. Like for me, I could kind of get a feel for overall where it was going, but just like where it was gonna like go next, I was like, man, it really could kind of go in any direction because of just all the things they throw at you. So that's kind of the you know, my general thoughts at least right now. But
Okay.
yeah, do you have any specific things that cool. So why something I was thinking about, because the movie hasn't done that well at the box office. And I do want to talk a little bit more about the plot of the movie, but just as far as like the marketing and all these different things, I kind of wanted to touch on, because the director, Charlie, he's been very active on social media talking about the movie, which has been very cool. He's been making a lot of videos and things, talking about the whole process of making the movie. But he's been talking about like just from the standpoint of like people really need to go and support the movie, which we've been saying for August.
But like that goes. You can say that all day long, but because of course another Isaac Gonzalez film that I was trying to see. It was what was it? In the Grave.
Yes.
And I was about to see it. I selected the wrong theater, and it was just too late to kind of switch. And then by the time I waited until the weekend, it was even more hard to find.
Yes.
And then the same directors will be like, "You guys support this film." And not only that, like marketing.
Yeah. So here's the thing that I was going into.
Yeah.
So you're not wrong, but it's kind of it's like a catch-22 almost in a way, because not for this movie and for other movies. No, good thing is I Love Boosters it still is in theaters, but there are some other movies that were literally only in theaters for like 2 weeks before they got pulled. And the reason that they were pulled is because they have limited screens. So if people aren't going to see them, it's like they're going to get pulled almost immediately because they can't justify.
And then other movies are coming out. So they gotta make room for that.
They gotta make room.
So
they can't.
So it's kind of unfortunate, unless you put it out in a time where it's kind of slow.
Yeah, and even then, you still gotta have people well aware of the movie. And another thing that happens is there have been overall very positive reviews for the movie, but there are some people that have said like, "Oh, I walked out of I Love Boosters because of this one particular scene," or "I walked out because
I ain't
of
paying.
XYZ.
I ain't paying $20 for a ticket and just walking out and not seeing the whole thing.
Yeah, me too. Like, if I, there's very, it's bad to say, but it has to be like terrible for me to like get up and walk out of the movie. Like, I'm gonna take my time, the 2 hours, whatever, to get up out the house to go see the movie. I'm at least going to see it through. I feel like that's the very least I can do. And to add on to that, when you're going online telling people, "Oh, I walked out of such and such," that's just going to deter more people from going to see it. And maybe, I don't know, if that's what you're trying to do,
That's
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think y'all should do that, because it's bad enough for
That affects the movie industry as a whole.
exactly
When you do that, and then when you talk about it online,
yeah
because everybody's already kind of because ticket prices are expensive,
mm-hmm.
concessions are expensive. Going to the movie is a luxury.
It is.
So what I'm saying is, like, you can't just do that, and then they're already looking for a reason not to go see a certain movie.
Yes.
Like, even us, we're very limited to the movies we can see, or want to see.
That's crazy. Cause I didn't see. I saw like 3 movies last week.
You know what I mean? No point in fingers.
That's crazy.
No
work.
point.
That's wild.
But no. But yeah, we're all are already kind of. There's certain movies we can see and certain movies we can't see. So we got a limited budget. So at that same time, if there's a movie that I really want to see, and then I see that on my social media, or you see bad reviews, or now all of a sudden, it's less likely I'm going to see the film. And at the end of the day, you got to realize as a consumer that not everybody is right. Not everybody's opinion is going to be your opinion. You looked at a movie review just now and you're like, oh, this might be a bad review. And it ended up being good.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, like, you never know until you see the film. And
exactly.
then you start to hear other people, oh yeah, that was a classic. And I'm like, nah, I didn't see it. Why didn't you see it? Oh, because somebody said it was bad.
Yeah, I'm like, you let the opinion of one person keep you from watching it, or a few people, in that effect, like, you'll assume like, oh, everybody hates the movie, and you're just like,
people are sheep, pretty much. They'll do kind of what other people are doing. You know?
But I'm not gonna say we're perfect in that. Like,
no.
Because there have been movies where I'm like, man, I've seen some terrible reviews for certain things, and a lot of times I would say there's certain movies that I might be on the fence of, where it's like I may or may not go see it, because there are certain movies I actually did go see because I heard good reviews for it. So it's like it can work both in a positive and negative sense.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is important, but that shouldn't be the only thing that either drives you or drives you away from seeing a movie. Like, if something is of interest to you, you should go see it for yourself.
And I get it. We're here, like, it's our job, quote unquote, to give you our opinions. Mm-hmm. Like, it's our job to tell you if we like a movie or we didn't like a movie.
Yeah.
That's why we call it honest reviews, because we try to be like, straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're not just gonna go on social media and say, "Oh yeah, this movie was terrible."
Mm-hmm.
There's that one movie I didn't like. I'm not gonna say the name. I didn't care for it. Other people liked it though.
Yeah.
And other people went and saw it, and I'm glad that they did. I didn't go on and saying trashing it in every social media and doing this and doing that to try to hurt, because at the end of the day, whether I like the movie or not, that affects the whole outward like outcome of the movie industry, and they're already struggling as it is to try to get more people into the theater. So you kind of want to help, and you can't say, "Oh yeah, I hope movie theaters come back, but you're doing that on social media.
True.
That
Yeah,
kind of
and
true.
there's a whole this conversation can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
It's very rare where I'll see a movie and tell people not to go see it.
Right.
Like the only time I'll say that, like even if I don't like a movie, I will still usually say like, "Hey, go see it for yourself."
And if we have, call us
Mhm.
out on it.
Yeah,
Because we try, but we mess
yeah,
up as well.
hmm
When we're giving our reviews or whatever. But yeah,
yes,
call us out.
yeah.
But
Um,
we try to be very honest with these reviews. So
that's
back to
true.
our love boosters.
But yeah, back to this regularly scheduled program. So, um, I do want to talk about just the I want to talk about just kind of like certain things that it made me sort of think about
Mm-hmm.
because I want y'all to kind of experience the movie as blind as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as like just visual things, like imagine like um, set it off. Not it's definitely not like violent in that way, but like in terms of like okay,
Yeah,
you've
that's
got
a
the whole
dark movie.
it is, but you got this group of black women and they're going they got this mission that they're trying to accomplish. It's similar in that sort of sense, but definitely not
It's
in
more uplifting.
it is it actually does have a it does have an
Positive energy.
it does have a more positive energy and
Fun.
it is fun. Yes, very fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, zany. It's vibrant. Like it's
If
not.
you're looking for something like you had a bad day at work and you're
Yeah,
just looking for a good time,
yeah. I'll say this. I felt good walking out of the movie, and I know there's certain movies where you'll leave and you're just like, ugh, I ain't feel good. Like it does have a optimistic outlook in the end of it, even though capitalism and all these things regarding the workforce can get very daunting. It can get very dark. There's one scene in particular. I won't. I won't try not to spoil exactly what happens, but it basically goes into like the one character was kind of justifying why these other characters have to pay for have to pay for their work uniform.
crazy.
And but the way it happens in the movie is very funny.
Okay.
I won't say more, but it's stuff like that where it's like just certain things like you have people stealing designs from other people. You have certain things where it's like Kiki Palmer, she had this thing that she was doing, and her and Demi Moore's character kind of have this like they're on opposite ends because she's this wealthy fashion mogul, and Kiki she's at the very bottom just trying to like she's just trying to make it, and so it's very interesting looking at those two. But going back to the inspirations or just certain movies, um, Ocean's 8, which I hadn't seen in a while. I remember seeing that in theaters. I feel like that's kind of like a comparison as far as like that's a heist movie, but it's more light. Like it's not like oh something super traumatic happens to everybody. Like I feel like that's a easy comparison, but somebody else compared it to like Spike Lee movies, which I didn't really think about. I could definitely see it in a way of like do the right thing from like a visual standpoint. How it's very colorful, and too like it's very different. But I thought about the Devil Wears Prada in a way because just how the way the fashion industry affects so many things. That's kind of where it made me think of this. Like it's a very different movie from The Devil Wears Prada, but I feel like they both things kind of have different things to say about you know fashion. So there are some others, but I definitely feel like the performance from Kiki, Naomi Aki, Taylor Page. I'll say this: Taylor Page was kind of like the comic relief. She had this phrase she kept saying, "Fashion forward philanthropy" throughout the movie. I thought that was funny. The way she kept saying it, and then it's not funny unless it's like trying to explain something
We
without
trying to
saying
do
it.
it.
It's not gonna
Yeah.
really land. But I like the Naomi Aki and Kiki Palmer's relationship. I felt like theirs was kind of like this. like they would butt heads at times, and but you could tell like they still cared about each other, and they wanted the best for each other. Um, and then Lakeith. So Lakeith was interesting because he was the main character of Sorry to Bother You, but within this movie, he's kind of this side character that there's this kind of been this ongoing debate because if you take his character out of the movie, excuse me, if you take his character out of the movie, he really doesn't affect the plot that much. Like you can pretty much remove him in the almost everything that happens in the movie would still kind of happen. He kind of just appears. He's in Kiki Palmer character's life, and then he kind of like not vanishes, but he's kind of this. He literally calls himself a demon in the movie, and I don't want to spoil this one particular scene, but it's very crazy what happens. Um, I mean, there is one way he kind of does actually affect the plot, and he does help him, but outside of that, it's like I'm still wondering what exactly the purpose he served. Somebody kind of said he served as a distraction in a way, but there are just certain. I think with him, um, I feel like they could have utilized him in a way that kind of connected him a little better. Um, that's kind of like my main critique. And then like just certain things where it does throw so many ideas at you where it's like sometimes I feel like this could have been like two separate movies, especially when they introduce there's one particular character where there's this device that they use and that kind of helps them in the later half of the movie when you get to like towards the end of like the second act and definitely into the third act. That was cool, but it was like, man, they're throwing a lot at you, and I'm not mad it's in there, but I also am wondering like if they would have focused on just certain other aspects a little bit harder, that maybe some things would have landed better. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I'm glad that I was able to see it in theaters. I feel like it is something that people should see in theaters. And if y'all, by the time are watching this,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I do hope that y'all do go see it. However you can. I get that not everybody can go to the theater. Um, Not everybody has the means, and I get it that it can be expensive. If you have some sort of like subscription service with the local theaters, I know some have that. There's Regal, they have their own thing. AMC has A-list, but there's ways of being able to see things. If you're somebody that wants to go often, there are ways in order to go that makes it cheaper. But yeah, go support.
Not the plug. Man.
I wasn't plugging even as I said. I mentioned Regal. I mentioned MC. I mentioned local stuff. But yeah, I don't get funded for plugging anything. So all in all, go support these movies, man. It's this was a fun watch. I'll say. I think especially Demi Moore. She really brought it to that character. I feel like she's been doing really great, especially with the Substance, which was a couple years ago. She's been doing some real interesting work. But yeah, all in all, I would. I guess I could get into the ratings. I would give it 4 stars, 4 out of 5.
So it's not a spoiler, that I didn't see.
Shocking.
But yeah, there was kind of other movies on my list that I was trying to see, and then after a while, kind of got ahead of me.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I mentioned this, the surrealism. That was the word. Very surreal. Very. I don't know if y'all have ever seen Atlanta TV show with Donald Glover. some parts reminded me of that. Also, David Lynch. I don't know if y'all are familiar. Y'all should be familiar with him. He's a director, R.I.P. legend. And then even Bong Joon Ho. I don't know if did Parasite and Mickey 17 last year. There are some aspects of it, especially with the capitalism critique and the whole thing with the class system, that it reminded me of that as well. So I won't,
But post your comments down below. Let us know if you go see it. Let us know how you feel.
yeah.
Like, share, subscribe, and follow us on socials. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
All right, y'all. Deuces.
And cut. Man, my tooth was hurting
Yeah,
as you were rambling. I was like,
I could tell you were struggling. My bad.
"Ooh."